man they called the perpetual motion machine met a horrible end that stripped away the very thing that defined him, his ability to move. John Havlicek's final years were a cruel irony that nobody saw coming. But before this tragic conclusion, Hondo's life was filled with political betrayals, revolutionary moments, and untold stories that changed basketball forever. Born April 8, 1940 in Martins Ferry, Ohio, John Havlicek grew up in the tiny town of Lansing. Population 700. His parents, Frank and Amanda, ran a family grocery store, while most neighbors worked in coal mines and steel mills. His father was an immigrant from Czechoslovakia, bringing that Eastern European work ethic to young John. Even as a kid, Havlicek showed signs of his legendary stamina. He discovered a personal sense of accomplishment, running non-stop between highway mileposts, laying the foundation for what would become his reputation as a perpetual motion machine on the basketball court. At Bridgeport High School, Havlicek was exceptional at everything. He earned all state honors in basketball, football, and baseball. As quarterback, he was noted for leadership and hard running. On the basketball court, he averaged nearly 30 points per game, but was even more celebrated for defense. In baseball, he played every infield position with a 460 batting average. Some sources suggest he could have become a professional baseball player. This remarkable athletic foundation led to over 35 scholarship offers for both basketball and football. He chose Ohio State University on a basketball scholarship, where teammate Mel Nowell gave him the nickname Hondo, saying he resembled John Wayne's character in the recent film. At Ohio State, Havlicek became part of one of college basketball's most dominant teams. Playing alongside future Hall of Famers Jerry Lucas and Bobby Knight, plus teammate Larry Siegfried, the Buckeyes compiled an impressive 78-6 record. They won 3 consecutive Big Ten championships and reached the Final Four each year from 1960 to 1962. The crowning achievement was winning the 1960 NCAA basketball tournament. Havlicek's role was defined by defensive commitment, routinely assigned to guard the opponent's best player regardless of position. During his senior season, he averaged 17 points per game and was voted team captain, earning All-American honors. But then came what Havlicek considered probably the biggest disappointment of my athletic career, being left off the 1960 U.S. Olympic basketball team. Despite performing well during trials, he and teammate Larry Siegfried were excluded due to a bitter political feud between the Amateur Athletic Union and the NCAA. This wasn't about merit, it was about power. The rivalry was so intense, it required mediation attempts from multiple presidents and Congress, all failing. The AAU controlled international competition through FIBA, while the NCAA argued colleges produced the top athletes. The NCAA threatened to remove scholarships from athletes competing in ARAU events, while the ARAU claimed college scholarships made players hired professionals. Only 7 NCAA players made the Olympic team, leaving 2 players from an NCAA championship squad off the roster. This systemic failure undoubtedly fueled Havlicek's professional ambitions. In 1962, Havlicek faced a unique situation. Drafted by both the Boston Celtics and Cleveland Browns. Though he hadn't played college football, his high school prowess was remembered. He attended Browns training camp but was the last player cut, losing his spot to all-pro flanker Gary Collins. This solidified his basketball focus. Under legendary coach Red Auerbach, Havlicek didn't immediately start. Instead, he pioneered what became known as the sixth man role. His boundless energy and all-around skills made him devastating against opponents' second units and tired starters. Auerbach's strategic decision to maximize Havlicek's unique talents revolutionized how reserves were used in professional basketball. Havlicek became so effective that he's still considered the best sixth man in NBA history. His playing style was relentless, characterized by constant movement that frustrated opponents. Auerbach famously dubbed him the guts of the team for his tenacious effort and commitment. This role didn't diminish his accomplishments. He became the first player to achieve 16 consecutive seasons with at least 1,000 points scored, testament to consistent ability and remarkable durability. His performance was crucial to the Celtics dynasty of the 1960s, contributing significantly to 6 of his eventual 8 championships. Among all of Havlicek's accomplishments, one moment stands above the rest: the steal. In the final seconds of Game 7 of the 1965 Eastern Conference Finals against Philadelphia, with Boston leading 110-109, Bill Russell turned the ball over on an inbounds pass. The 76ers had one final chance. With 5 seconds on the clock, Philadelphia's Hal Greer prepared to inbound. Havlicek, guarding Chet Walker, recalled Auerbach's coaching tip to always look for an edge. He silently counted down the 5-second clock and, anticipating Greer's delayed pass, made his move. He leaped and deflected the ball to teammate Sam Jones as the buzzer sounded, securing victory. This dramatic moment was immortalized by Celtics announcer Johnny Most's frantic call: "Havlicek stole the ball. It's all over. It's all over." The NBA celebrates it as the most famous radio call in basketball history. Following Bill Russell's retirement, Havlicek's role evolved. Beginning in 1969-70, he became a full-time starter and team captain. His statistics peaked as he led a new Celtics core, including Dave Cowens, JoJo White, and Paul Silas, to 2 more championships in 1974 and 1976. The 1974 title was particularly significant. Havlicek was named Finals MVP, a fitting honor for someone who'd been the team's heart and soul for over a decade. Havlicek's final season, 1977-78, contrasted sharply with his earlier dynastic success. The Celtics were one of the worst teams in franchise history. He played alongside what was described as a rag bag of malcontents and enthusiasts of recreational drugs. Teammate Don Chaney called it a terrible year, a waste, due to constant turmoil and unbelievable front office interference. The chaos resulted from an unprecedented ownership situation. Celtics owner Irv Levin wanted to move the franchise to California, but the NBA blocked the move. A compromise was reached where Levin and Buffalo Braves owner John Y. Brown Jr. swapped franchises. The deal included a 7-player trade bringing Nate Archibald, Billy Knight, and Marvin Barnes to Boston. The trade was executed without legendary general manager Red Auerbach's knowledge, reportedly making him furious. When Brown again traded 3 future first-round picks for Bob McAdoo without consulting Auerbach, it nearly pushed the GM to resign for a position with the rival New York Knicks. Despite these difficult circumstances, Havlicek's professional demeanor never wavered. He maintained his standards until retirement, providing a crucial link between the old dynasty and the future. The draft picks Auerbach saved were later used to acquire Robert Parrish and Kevin McHale, and the team's poor 1978 record allowed them to draft Larry Bird. Havlicek retired in 1978 after 16 years, having established himself among NBA history's greatest players. His decision was driven by personal philosophy. If he couldn't contribute 30 to 35 minutes per game significantly, it was time to leave rather than hang around getting 15 to 18 minutes of playing time, with most of that being charity. His transition was smooth, partly due to financial wisdom. He was a shrewd investor who invested heavily in Wendy's fast food chain during its formative years. These investments' success ensured he never had to work for a conventional salary again. After playing, he served as a corporate speaker and NBA Goodwill Ambassador while enjoying hobbies like hunting, fishing, and golf. Havlicek dedicated much of his post-basketball life to philanthropy, notably through long-standing commitment to the Genesis Foundation for Children. Established by Dr. Murray Feingold in 1982, the foundation provides funding and advocacy for children with rare diseases, genetic disorders, and physical and intellectual challenges. Beginning in 1983, Havlicek and his wife, Beth, hosted the annual John Havlicek Celebrity Fishing Tournament, bringing together celebrities like former Red Sox star Carlton Fisk and former Celtics coach Chris Ford to raise money. This unwavering commitment demonstrated his character extended far beyond athletic achievements. In his later years, John Havlicek was diagnosed with severe, aggressive, and debilitating Parkinson's disease. This diagnosis was particularly poignant for the man nicknamed Hondo, who was literally a man in motion throughout his career. Parkinson's is a progressive disorder that gradually deprives patients of voluntary movement ability. A cruel irony for an athlete whose greatest gift was boundless movement. Havlicek's legendary stamina and third lung were metaphors for relentless drive, but the disease ultimately challenged the very essence of his athletic identity. The man who once ran non-stop between highway mileposts as a child, who was called the perpetual motion machine, who frustrated opponents with constant movement, was slowly being robbed of the thing that defined him most. John Havlicek died peacefully on April 25, 2019 at age 79 in Jupiter, Florida. The direct cause was pneumonia contracted after a fall, leading to brain damage from oxygen deprivation. His passing marked the end of a remarkable life, but his legacy endures. His number 17 jersey was retired by the Celtics, and he was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame in 1984. With 8 championships and an 8-0 finals record, Havlicek's career statistics and enduring reputation as a versatile, team-first player confirm his place among all-time greats. But perhaps most importantly, John Havlicek showed us that greatness isn't just about talent. It's about relentless effort, adaptability, and maintaining professionalism even in the darkest times. From political disappointments to revolutionary roles, from championship glory to charitable work, Hondo never stopped moving forward. Even when Parkinson's tried to steal his motion, it couldn't steal his legacy of persistence, innovation, and unwavering character. The perpetual motion machine may have stopped, but the impact of his movement continues to inspire generations of athletes and fans alike.
I would kick your ass.
Bill Russell is a basketball legend with 11 championship rings to his name. But behind the trophies and celebrations, he carried a heavy burden of personal struggles and sorrow. Today, we're going to uncover the untold story of this iconic athlete. Let's get into it. Bill Russell was born on February 12, 1934, in West Monroe, Louisiana, to Charles and Katie Russell. Growing up in a segregated town, Bill and his family often faced racism. One time, his dad was threatened with a shotgun at a gas station because he didn't wait his turn behind the white customers. Bill's early years in basketball were challenging. He was a good athlete but didn't make the junior high basketball team because he couldn't grasp the game initially. In high school, he almost got cut again, but his coach saw potential in him and encouraged him to improve his fundamentals. This coach's support meant a lot, especially since Bill had faced negativity from other authority figures before. Bill eventually became known for his unique defensive play in basketball. He was advised to stay flat-footed to play better defense, but he found his style by jumping to block shots, which really paid off. He was so good that he later led his college team, the San Francisco Dons, to 2 NCAA championships and played for the U.S. team in the 1956 Olympics, bringing home a gold medal. Bill's professional career was legendary. He was drafted by the Boston Celtics and became a key player, helping them win 11 NBA championships. He was known for his incredible defense and rebounding skills. Later in his career, he even became the first black coach in the NBA to win a championship. After retiring, Bill didn't just disappear. He coached other teams, commented on games, wrote books, and continued to influence basketball. He was honored numerous times, including having the NBA Finals MVP award named after him and receiving the Presidential Medal of Freedom for both his sports achievements and his civil rights work. You know, it's safe to say Bill Russell was truly a giant both on the basketball court and in his civil rights efforts, but he definitely faced his fair share of tough spots. What truly happened? Let's get into it, but before that, make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks. He dealt with significant racial abuse, especially in Boston, which was pretty tough on him. Imagine, his own home was vandalized with hateful messages. This kind of hostility was a clear sign of the times and the challenges he faced as a prominent black athlete. And talking about Boston, Russell's relationship with the fans there was kind of a roller coaster. Lots of fans absolutely loved his incredible talent and the strong stands he took on social issues, but not everyone liked him speaking out. His willingness to address racial injustices sometimes rubbed people the wrong way, creating a bit of a divide. Russell didn't just stick to basketball, he was right in the thick of activism too. He threw his support behind the civil rights movement and was outspoken against the Vietnam War, which wasn't always popular. Some folks thought athletes should just focus on the game and keep their opinions to themselves. But that wasn't Russell. He wasn't afraid to use his voice for what he believed was right, despite the backlash. On a personal note, Russell was a pretty private guy. He wasn't one to seek out the spotlight off the court, preferring to keep to himself. This sometimes led people to think he was aloof or even arrogant, but really, he was just more about keeping his private life, well, private. His family life had its challenges too. Russell admitted that he wasn't always there for his kids when they were growing up, as he was so engrossed in his career and activism. He later tried to mend those relationships, but the early years missed left an impact. Russell's love life also made headlines, having been married 4 times. Back in those days, that was definitely talk of the town material, considering how people viewed marriage and divorce. In the locker room, Russell was known for setting the bar high. He was tough and expected a lot from his teammates, which could create some tension. His demanding nature and sharp critiques weren't always easy for everyone to handle. Despite these controversies, it's crucial to remember the full scope of who Bill Russell was. More than just an athlete, he was a pioneer who used his platform to fight for justice and change. His legacy is about so much more than basketball. It's about inspiring generations to stand up for what's right and to make a difference wherever they can. He really was a trailblazer, both on and off the hardwood. Sure, the controversies were serious, but he was a legend, no doubt. Russell kicked off his college days at the University of San Francisco back in 1952, quickly making waves on the freshman basketball team by racking up an average of 20 points per game. By the end of 1953, he was already a star on the varsity team under coach Phil Woolpert. Woolpert loved a good defensive game, and that played right into Russell's strengths. He wasn't just a regular player, he was exceptional at defense, which really helped the team stand out. In 1954, Woolpert did something pretty groundbreaking by starting 3 African-American players, including Russell. That wasn't common at the time and really set a new precedent in college basketball. During his time at USF, Russell developed a unique defensive style. Instead of just sticking to his own guy, he'd dart around, helping out wherever he could and making it tough for opponents to get a shot off. He was so good that Sports Illustrated once commented that the sport might need new rules if he got any better at scoring. The NCAA even changed some rules because of him, like making the area near the basket wider, just to level the playing field a bit. Off the court, things weren't always easy. Russell and his teammates often faced racism, especially during away games. One time in Oklahoma City, they weren't allowed to stay in any of the local hotels because of their race. So they all stuck together and slept in a college dorm that was closed for the season. It was a tough situation, but it also brought them closer as a team. By the time he graduated, Russell had not only left his mark with 2 NCAA championships, but had also grown incredibly strong from facing and overcoming such adversity. Those college years at USF really shaped him into both the amazing player and the resilient person he became. Bill Russell truly stands as a legend in the world of North American sports. His career is packed with highlights, including winning 11 NBA championships with the Boston Celtics over 13 seasons. Not only did he shine as a player, but he also made history as the NBA's first black head coach, leading his team to 2 more titles. Russell's talents weren't confined to professional basketball. He also claimed a NCAA championship with the University of San Francisco and followed that up with an NBA title, making him one of the rare athletes to win back-to-back championships in college and then in the pros. His prowess wasn't limited to just team successes. He also took home an Olympic gold medal in 1956. On the court, Russell was a rebounding powerhouse, setting records that still stand. He was the first NBA player to average over 20 rebounds per game in a season, a feat he achieved 10 times. His defensive skills were unmatched, often credited with elevating the art of defense in the NBA. Russell was also a clutch performer in crucial games. Playing in 11 deciding games throughout his career, he never lost one, showcasing his ability to perform under pressure. Off the court, he was known for his intense focus and drive to win, even if it meant being so nervous he'd get sick before games. Sadly, Bill passed away at his home in Mercer Island, Washington on July 31, 2022. He was 88 years old. His family announced his passing in a tweet, sharing their loss with the world. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver weighed in with high praise, calling Russell the greatest champion in all of team sports. This statement really speaks volumes about Russell's legacy and the immense respect he garnered throughout his career and beyond. He wasn't just a phenomenal player. He was a trailblazer who left an indelible mark on the sport. If you found this deep dive into the untold story of Bill Russell fascinating, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more incredible stories like this one.
Between 9 and 10 years old, I was in the drugstore, and a friend of mine came in with a bunch of his friends. He said, "I bet you can't spin that ball on your finger for an hour." "Okay, I'll bet you $5. I was just spinning it on this one finger. The nail started to wear down, and it started to blister, and I started to get a little blood from that finger. And I just kept it going for 1 hour, and I got my $5.
While playing in a pickup basketball game in the gym at First Church in Pasadena, California. He was presumably still young in his early 40s. Maravich's last words, less than a minute before he died, were, "I feel great." Pete Maravich, despite being so talented and beloved, had a career plagued by controversies. All of this led to him being addicted to alcohol and other activities. He got so addicted that he himself did not know the extent of the damage it was causing to his life. All his life, while he was playing at the top of his game, his health was being neglected, and the congenital defect which no one knew about but only he suffered and grew with, it started to be seen by everyone. It turns out that he had a missing left coronary artery. His right coronary artery was grossly enlarged and had been compensating for the defect. It was almost miraculous how he survived and played so well despite this defect.
I have been inactive for about 2 months, plus the fact while working out on my own, I did sustain a slight groin pull. So with that and with the inactivity, I think it's best for me to round myself into some type of shape before I come back out.
Maravich was born to Peter Press Maravich and Helen Gravor Maravich in Aliquippa, a steel town in Pennsylvania near Pittsburgh. Maravich amazed his family and friends with his basketball abilities from an early age. He enjoyed a close but demanding father-son relationship that motivated him towards achievement and fame in the sport. Maravich's father was the son of Serbian immigrants and a professional player-turned-coach. He taught his son the fundamentals starting when Pete was 7 years old. Obsessively, young Maravich spent hours practicing ball control tricks, passes, head fakes, and long-range shots. And so he made his playing style ahead of its time and paved the way for future generations of basketball players. Maravich played high school varsity ball at Daniel High School in Central South Carolina, a year before being old enough to attend the school. While at Daniel from 1961 to 1963, Maravich participated in the school's first ever game against a team from an all-black school. While living in Raleigh, North Carolina, his famous moniker was born when he attended Needham B. From his habit of shooting the ball from his side, as if holding a revolver, Maravich became known as Pistol Pete Maravich. After that, he graduated from Broughton in 1965 and then attended Edwards Military Institute, where he averaged 33 points per game. Interestingly enough, the NCAA has just prohibited first-year students from playing at the varsity level, and that required Maravich also to play on the freshman team. Even with that, the ambitious Pete played his best. Can you imagine the energy he brought with him throughout the game? In his first game, Maravich put up 50 points, 14 rebounds, and 11 assists against Southeastern Louisiana College. This impressive performance set the tone for his legendary college career, where he would go on to become the all-time leading scorer in NCAA history with an average of 44.2 points per game. Maravich's impact on the game of basketball continues to be felt today. Maravich's unique playing style and scoring ability quickly gained attention, leading to a successful college basketball career at Louisiana State University. And the rest is history. Pete Maravich became a name. He went on to become one of the greatest players in NCAA history, setting numerous scoring records which still stand today. For his collegiate career, the 6'5" guard averaged 44.2 points per game in 83 contests and led the NCAA in scoring for each of his 3 seasons. Maravich's scoring records at LSU have not been broken yet. Though he never appeared in the NCAA tournament, Maravich played a key role in turning around a lackluster program that had posted a 3-20 record in the season prior to his arrival. Maravich finished his college career in the 1970 National Invitation Tournament, where LSU finished 4th. At the beginning of his professional basketball career, the Atlanta Hawks selected Maravich with the 3rd pick in the first round of the 1970 NBA Draft, where he played for coach Richie Guerin. It was a pretty difficult challenge, but Maravich's scoring ability made him a fan favorite in Atlanta. It's amazing to think that a person not only had this magic ability, but an impressive aura. Everywhere he went, he became a favorite, and his flashy style has helped bring Hawks' profile to the top in the league. Maravich appeared in 81 games and averaged 23.2 points per contest, good enough to earn NBA All-Rookie Team honors. He managed to blend his style with that of his teammates, so much so that Lou Hudson, the team's leading scorer at the time, welcomed Maravich's presence and saw him as a valuable asset to the team. This comradeship on the court converted into success for the Atlanta Hawks during Maravich's rookie season. Not to forget the time where the fan following of Pete Maravich had helped the New Orleans Jazz franchise. In the summer of 1974, the expansion New Orleans Jazz franchise was preparing for its first season of competition in the NBA and was looking to generate excitement among their new basketball fans. Maravich's popularity in Louisiana helped draw in fans to support the new Jazz team, creating a buzz around the franchise before they even hit the court. His playing style made him a must-watch player for basketball enthusiasts in the region. Maravich struggled with injuries that limited him to just 62 games that season, but he averaged 25.9 points per contest, 3rd behind McAdoo and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and continued his crowd-pleasing antics. He was elected to the All-NBA First Team that year. The following season, 1976-77, was his most productive in the NBA. He led the league in scoring with an average of 31.1 points per game. He scored 40 points or more in 13 games and 50 or more in 4 games. His 68-point masterpiece against the Knicks was, at the time, the most points ever scored by a guard in a single game. He was once again elected to the All-NBA First Team for his outstanding performance. Maravich earned his 3rd All-Star Game appearance and was honored as the All-NBA First Team for the 2nd consecutive season. But his knee injuries persisted, ultimately limiting his playing time and effectiveness on the court. Despite being robbed of some quickness and athleticism, he still managed to score 27.0 points per game, and he also added 6.7 assists per contest, his highest average as a member of the Jazz. The Utah Jazz began play in the 1979-80 season. Maravich moved with the team to Salt Lake City, but his knee problems were worse than ever. He appeared in 17 games early in the season, but his injuries prevented him from practicing much, and since he couldn't play, he couldn't practice much. And that gave Maravich an idea of playing as a part-time contributor. Maravich adjusted to a new role as a part-time contributor, giving Boston a hired gun on offense off the bench. And, for the first time since his early career in Atlanta, Maravich was able to participate in the NBA playoffs. Realizing that his knee problems would never go away, Maravich retired at the end of that season. During his 10-year career in the NBA, Maravich played in 658 games, averaging 24.2 points and 5.4 assists per contest. In 1987, he was inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. In 2021, to commemorate the NBA's 75th anniversary, The Athletic ranked their top 75 players of all time and named Maravich as the 73rd greatest player in NBA history. Personally, at the time of his retirement, he was in a weak phase of life. After retiring from the game in 1980, Maravich decided to live in seclusion and solitude to bring back his faith and the meaning of life. So he became a recluse for 2 years. Eventually, he became a born-again Christian, embracing biblical Christianity. A few years before his death, Maravich said, "I want to be remembered as a Christian, a person who serves Jesus to the utmost, not as a basketball player." During his last days, he grew very spiritual and became very close to God. He found peace and comfort in his faith, which ultimately helped him face his mortality with grace and acceptance. So this was all about the legendary player and how he conquered his life, both on and off the field. If you want to know more about these legendary players and their inspirational lives, please like, subscribe to the channel, and share. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more inspiring stories.
Maurice Lucas died at just 58. His funeral was heartbreaking. But the truth? They lied about who he really was. Everyone called him the Enforcer. That nickname makes him sound mean and scary. But that title doesn't tell the whole story. You're about to learn who the man really was behind all those fights. Maurice Lucas was born in Pittsburgh in 1952. He played basketball at Shenley High School. Even as a teenager, he was special. In 1971, he won Mr. Basketball USA. That's like being the best high school player in the whole country. He went to Marquette University to play for Coach Al McGuire. Maurice was huge and strong. He could score and grab rebounds better than almost anyone. For 2 years, he dominated college basketball. In 1974, Maurice took his team all the way to the NCAA championship game. They played against North Carolina State for the title. Maurice was incredible that night. He played all 40 minutes and scored 21 points with 13 rebounds. His team lost, but everyone saw how good he was. Even in college, his teammates knew he was different. One player called him a banger and a bruiser. There's a story about Maurice splitting someone's mouth open with a hard screen. He wasn't trying to hurt anyone. He just played harder than everyone else. After his junior year, Maurice made a big choice. He could go to the NBA or the ABA. The ABA was newer and more physical. Maurice picked the ABA. He joined the Spirits of St. Louis. In the ABA, Maurice met his destiny. The league was rough and tough. Players fought all the time. Maurice fit right in, but one fight changed everything. He went up against Artis Gilmore. Gilmore was 7 feet 2 inches tall and weighed 240 pounds. He was like a giant. During the game, Gilmore tried to punch Maurice. He missed. Maurice didn't miss. He planted his feet and punched Gilmore right on the jaw. Down went the giant. That punch made Maurice famous. Everyone started calling him the Enforcer. He wasn't just a good player anymore. He was the guy who knocked out the biggest man in basketball. Other players were scared of him now. Maurice got traded to the Kentucky Colonels. He made the All-Star team. He averaged 17 points and 11 rebounds. But in 1976, the ABA folded. Maurice was heading to the NBA with a scary reputation. The Portland Trail Blazers picked Maurice in the dispersal draft. They traded 2 players just to get him. Portland needed someone tough. They've been losing for years because other teams pushed them around. In his first season with Portland, Maurice led the team in almost everything. He scored the most points, grabbed the most rebounds, and played the most minutes. He averaged over 20 points and 11 rebounds per game. Maurice teamed up with Bill Walton. Walton was a great center who could pass like a guard. Maurice was the muscle. Together, they became the best big man duo in the NBA. Walton was the hippie, Maurice was the enforcer, but they became best friends. Coach Jack Ramsey told Maurice to keep being physical. He wanted Maurice to intimidate other players. He wanted him to start fights if he had to. The coach knew that Portland needed that toughness to win. In 1977, Portland made the NBA Finals. They played the Philadelphia 76ers. The 76ers had their own tough guys like Daryl Dawkins. Philadelphia won the first 2 games. Portland looked finished. But in Game 2, everything changed. Dawkins swung at Maurice's teammate, Bobby Gross. Maurice wasn't going to let that happen. He threw a huge punch and knocked Dawkins down. Both players got kicked out of the game. That punch saved Portland's season. In Game 3, Maurice did something brilliant. Before the game started, he walked over and shook hands with Dawkins. Dawkins was so surprised he couldn't play well. Portland won that game. Maurice scored 27 points and grabbed 14 rebounds. Portland won the next 3 games too. They became NBA champions. Only the second team in history to come back from being down 0-2 in the finals. Maurice's punch changed everything. After helping Portland reach the top, Maurice kept moving. And if you want to follow every big game like Maurice did, you gotta try Fubo. It's live sports, no cable. Click the link and watch the game, just like the Enforcer would have. Maurice stayed in Portland for 3 more years. He made 3 straight All-Star teams. He made the All-NBA second team and the All-Defensive first team. Portland retired his jersey number 20. Fans loved chanting Luke whenever they saw him. But eventually, Maurice had to leave. He played for 6 different teams over the next 8 years. He went to New Jersey, New York, Phoenix, Los Angeles, and Seattle. Even as he got older, he kept playing tough basketball. In Phoenix, Maurice made another All-Star team in 1983. He proved he was still one of the best players in the league. Teams wanted him because he made everyone around him better and tougher. Maurice's last stop was back in Portland. He returned for the 1987-88 season. It was like coming home. The fans still loved him. He didn't play as much, but it felt right to end his career where he became a legend. When Maurice stopped playing, he didn't stop working. Portland hired him as an assistant coach right away. He wanted to teach young players how to be tough but smart. He followed coach Nate McMillan to Seattle, then back to Portland in 2005. But Maurice's biggest work happened off the court. He started the Maurice Lucas Foundation to help kids in Portland. The foundation began as a basketball program, but grew into something bigger. They helped kids with school, taught them about character, and showed them how to work hard. Maurice had 7 rules he taught kids: goal setting, integrity, hard work, personal responsibility, respect, and positivity. He partnered with families, teachers, and schools. He wanted to help kids from middle school all the way through college. The truth about Maurice Lucas was surprising. Yes, he was the enforcer on the basketball court. He fought when he had to. He protected his teammates. But off the court, he was quiet and gentle. He respected his mother. He was a great father. He treated everyone with kindness. Maurice spent countless hours helping young people. If kids said they wanted to fight like him, he corrected them. He told them basketball wasn't about fighting. It was about working hard and helping your team. He organized charity events to help sick children at the hospital where his own daughter had been treated as a baby. In April 2009, Maurice found out he had bladder cancer. He kept working as long as he could, but the cancer was strong. After the 2009-2000 season, he had to stop coaching. His health was getting worse. Maurice Lucas died at his home in Portland on October 31st, 2010. He was only 58 years old. The cancer had won its fight. Memorial services were held in Portland and in his hometown of Pittsburgh. When news of his death spread, everyone had beautiful things to say. Coach Nate McMillan called him a champion of a man and a warrior. McMillan said Maurice was his mentor and big brother. Bill Walton, his old teammate, called Maurice the greatest Blazer ever. But the most touching tribute came from Walton's family. He had named his son Luke after Maurice Lucas. That shows how much their friendship meant. Buck Williams, who played in the NBA later, said Maurice taught him how to be an all-star. Williams said Maurice looked out for the young, the weak, and women. Other players remembered how Maurice protected everyone around him. Today, the Maurice Lucas Foundation still helps thousands of kids every year. Over 2,200 students have been through their academy program. Another 4,300 have attended their basketball camps. Maurice's work continues even though he's gone. His jersey hangs in the rafters in Portland. Marquette University retired his number 2. He's in Marquette's Hall of Fame. The ABA named him to their all-time team. But his biggest honor is the love people still show him. Fans in Portland still chant, "Luke," when they remember him. They know he was more than just a tough guy. He was a champion who came back to help his community. He was a fighter who taught kids to solve problems with their brains, not their fists. Maurice Lucas punched his way into history, but he hugged his way into people's hearts.